right, well, ice and the Winter Olympics go hand in hand. Ice skating, ice hockey, ice dancing, curling. Ice is a big part of the Winter Olympics. But with everything going on in the US, how can they celebrate these icy winter sports while also icing out immigration and customs enforcement? That seems to be the name of the game. I saw this USA Today headline, woke as ever. Their sports coverage, woke as ever. Olympics hospitality space Ice House renamed Winter House after ice protests. Christine Brennan is one of the worst over there, by the way. So U.S. figure skating, U.S. hockey, and U.S. speed skating decided to change the name of the Ice House. It's been the Ice House. Now it's the Winter House. This is the statement that they actually gave to USA Today. Our hospitality concept was designed to be a private space free of distractions, where athletes, their families, and friends can come together to celebrate the unique experience of the Winter Games. This name captures that vision and connects us to the season and the event. You know, Ice House would have been just fine, but they did this because ICE agents and Homeland Security Investigations agents are in Milan providing security, which has sparked protests in Milan. So this distraction that they're talking about, these teams talking about this distraction, it's not really ICE's fault. ICE isn't the distraction. It's the liberals' reaction to ICE. It's their fault. Anyway, but the U.S. teams changed the name because, they didn't want more protests at their venue and wanted to distance themselves from ICE, which honestly, I don't blame them for not wanting protests at their thing, considering how annoying and distracting and sometimes violent the protesters get. I think best case scenario, protests are annoying. Worst case scenario, they're deadly. So I wouldn't want protests by my venue anyway, right? And the Homeland Security agents are there to mitigate kinds of threats like that anyway, and then certainly greater threats like terrorist threats on the world stage. I guess American idiots think that ICE is just Trump's secret police because that's what the media has told them, and that they deport minorities just like willy-nilly because they feel like it. But they actually do serve purposes beyond their fear-mongering fantasies. Now, a lot of these, I'm calling them celebrities, but a lot of these athletes that are on the world stage, they have big followings. They're influencers aside from being athletes. It kind of goes hand in hand, but they all have a huge platform on social media. And this guy, Gus Kenworthy, he is a freestyle skier. And he posted this on Instagram a few days ago. And this is, I guess you could call this a protest, but he just peed in the snow, really. I don't really know if that's effective. I don't think it's an effective protest. I think it's pretty nasty. I think it's pretty gross. But if we could pull this up and we could see it, I think unless it's AI, this seems like very neat to pee ice into the snow. Something I think this has to be like AI or something. How do you write that neatly with your pee? I don't know. But ice in the snow, pretty gross if you ask me. And this guy is British American. He's representing Britain in the Olympics, not even the United States, but keeps the United States in his mouth and in his pee in the snow. I mean, it just seems like he can't get away. And it seems like he's a dual citizen who can come and go as he pleases because he follows the law and most likely has correct documentation. So I'm not sure what his beef with ICE is. Any immigrant can enjoy those same privileges so long as they abide by the rules and don't commit any crimes. So I don't really understand what the beef is. Then this is another just media. This just gets me. Out sports. The fact that there is, and listen, I guess it's capitalism, right? Is there a need and a want, a demand for a sports platform that only covers gay athletes? I guess. I don't know. But this is called Out Sports. And Out Sports did this piece on Amber Glenn, a United States figure skater. And they wrote this: at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Missouri, queer representation wasn't just present, it was central to the narrative of the event. Really? Two skaters in particular, Jason Brown and Amber Glenn, brought a visible, unapologetic queerness to the ice. in a way that felt both groundbreaking and overdue for the sport. Okay. And then she's going to be the first LGBTQ Olympic women's figure skater, which that seems fake to me. I mean, I'm not trying to take this accolade away from her. And by accolade, I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic, but that's what they think. I think that there certainly have been other gay figure skaters before in the Olympics. That's just me. And this is coming from someone who used to figure skate competitively. Figure skating is one of those sports where you either go to the Olympics or you don't. I certainly wasn't going to make it to the Olympics, but any guy that I knew that was a figure skater was gay, because at the rink that I skated at, if the guys weren't gay, they were playing hockey. So I don't know. I'm not saying that they're all gay. I know that I think there's a U.S. ice dancing duo that is married. So I'm not saying that they're all gay. I'm just thinking, like, is this really the first gay figure skater to go to the Olympics? That seems sus to me, but whatever. Anyway, I thought that this was funny that they have to make this post in general. Like, what does sexuality have to do with figure skating? What does sexuality have to do with anything? Nothing. I've never watched the Olympics and wondered who the athletes were attracted to. I've never wondered what they do behind closed doors with whom. It's never occurred to me. I don't care who they're attracted to. That used to be the norm. You used to be able to watch the Olympics and sports and not give a damn about any of that. Now it seems like sexuality is so top of mind all the time, even when it's not relevant. I am more interested in how much these athletes work out, what they eat, how they sleep, how long do they sleep, how do they train, how do they recover, how do they warm up, how do they cool down, how did they get into this sport? Like normal athlete questions. That is what I am interested in, because these people are the elite of the elite. I want to know how you got there. It's aspirational. I don't care who you sleep with, but now it's all about sexuality. And of course, on the world stage, it's all about politics. So here is U.S. figure skater Amber Glenn discussing how hard it is for gay people in America right now. Watch.
Yeah, it's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that we didn't have to before. And because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and encourage people to stay strong in these hard times.
Stay strong? Stay strong in these hard times? What hard time? What's hard? What is harder for gay people right now? What human rights do they have to fight for, right? Do they not have the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, the right to privacy, fair trial, free speech, freedom from torture and discrimination? How out of touch do you have to be on the world stage to talk about how hard it is to be gay in the most tolerant country on earth? You look stupid. You're making us all look stupid. There are 65 countries that have anti-homosexuality laws, and a lot of them are competing in the Olympics, by the way. There are countries competing in the Olympics that would kill people for being gay, and they do. And this woman is talking about how hard it is to live in a country that has a whole month dedicated to celebrating people who sleep with the same sex. Give me a break. You're fine. Then, U.S. alpine skier Michaela Schifrin, she was asked how she feels representing the United States on the world stage. Listen to this one.
I think there's a lot of hardship in the world, globally. And there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of violence. It can be tough to reconcile that when you're also competing for medals in an Olympic event. I actually have some thoughts. I can read something that I had written, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
So last night at the opening ceremonies, Charlize Theron, she had quoted Nelson Mandela. And I don't have the quote off the top of my mind because I'm not brilliant. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where we can all flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. And for me, as this relates to the Olympics, I'm really hoping to show up and represent my own values, values of inclusivity, values of diversity and kindness and sharing.
Okay. So she says, well, I was listening to Charlize Theron quote Nelson Mandela, so allow me to quote Charlize Theron, who is quoting Nelson Mandela. This is like, do you know that quote from The Office, or that episode from The Office where it's like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, where he's attributing the Wayne Gretzky quote to himself? Like, this is that, right? And again, I'm embarrassed just seeing this on the world stage. But, you know, in all seriousness, yes, there are horrible things happening in the world, and yet the Olympics go on every few years, and every time something is happening somewhere. The world doesn't stop for the Olympics, and the Olympics doesn't stop for the world. It almost seems silly to have to acknowledge that. You're representing the greatest country in the world. It's not perfect, but no country is. And honestly, I don't know where Michaela Schifrin stands politically. I could probably guess, but I don't care. But it's sort of a trend as of late among liberals on the internet to have to acknowledge that not everything is perfect in America as this prerequisite before they say anything good about the country or even just appear to be living life as normal. It's this strange phenomenon that I'm seeing, especially on TikTok as I'm scrolling, with influencers that are beauty influencers, fashion influencers, you know, apolitical influencers, right? They are having to come out and say, hey, I know this isn't my normal content, but I just can't go to my Pilates class, or I can't go get a coffee, or I can't take you food shopping with me today until I say this. Why? And it's because of the cancel culture retards that watch their content, that are just like constantly needing everyone to be political all the time. And I just feel like these Olympians are kind of playing to those same people when they have to excuse current events from their participation in the Olympics. It's so bizarre. I see Olympians as representatives of America, but I don't ever see them as representatives of the government or the Trump administration or the Biden administration, Obama, whoever, right? Whoever's in office at the time. I'm never like, oh, if these people signed up to, you know, and by sign up, I mean, were eligible to compete in the Olympics, that means they must agree with everything going. It's stupid. It's just a stupid way to think. Here's another example. This is Hunter Hess. He is a USA freestyle skier, and he says that he has mixed emotions about celebrating America on the world stage and representing them. Watch.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Yeah, like, this goes without saying. You just don't need to say that. The American flag represents all of us, whether you voted for Trump or not, whether you're conservative or liberal or somewhere farther right or left or somewhere in the middle, or you're apolitical, or if you don't care what's going on, or if you don't know what's going on, young, old, black, white, doesn't matter. The flag represents all of us. And I would never see someone wearing a flag at the Olympics and think, oh, they co-sign everything that happens in their country ever, and everything that their government has ever done ever. No, they're athletes who live in that country. And you should be able to be proud of where you're from without giving some disclaimer. Again, the disclaimers are less for them than it probably is for their cancel culture mob warrior fans, and also probably to keep sponsors happy. People make these statements, same as the Grammys and other award shows, because everyone else is doing it. So then if they don't say something, they think they'll look bad, or they'll get canceled, or they'll get dropped by an advertiser or sponsor. And the reality is, I don't look to celebrities or athletes or influencers or anyone else for opinions on current events or politics. And if you do, you're probably really insecure or not that bright. So I will just say this to American athletes, and I know that they're watching. Be proud. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of all that you have worked for. Be proud that you have been given this opportunity through hard work. And when you're on the world stage, be mindful of how lucky you are, that there are countries competing alongside you that have it way worse. but none of them, and I mean none of them, have it better. And I think deep down, most of them know that. And here is Lindsey Vonn, who loves representing America. They're not all bad, right? Here's Lindsey Vonn talking about representing America on the world stage. Watch.
It's a privilege to represent your country, and the Olympics are the largest stage in the world, the largest sporting event in the world. To walk out into the opening ceremonies with your fellow teammates is such an honor, and I always feel incredibly lucky that I'm even able to compete at that level. So I definitely don't take it for granted, and I'm going to enjoy my last Olympics as much as I possibly can.
So I love to hear that. I absolutely love to hear that. And that is the politically correct, normal answer, by the way. Lindsey Vonn, unfortunately, ruptured her ACL when she crashed in a World Cup race about a week ago. That was in the Swiss Alps. Then she crashed again at the Olympics and was airlifted again, this time requiring surgery for a broken leg. So she will no longer be competing this year, which is really sad to see because I would have loved to see someone like Lindsey Vonn, who isn't a woke, anti-America, just activist, do really well on the world stage. I would have thought that would be really cool to watch, but it's okay. I just wish her all the best in her surgery and her recovery. But I wanted to go through this headline, not only this headline, this article that was done by AP News, because they were talking about the lack of diversity at the Olympics, which is hilarious. I mean, it's just hilarious. Europe's rising diversity is not reflected at the Winter Olympics. Culture plays a big role. Okay? So I'm just going to read you some of this because I had to read it, so do you. It's hilarious. So they started off by finding a Somali skier to be interviewed for this because obviously, right, with everything happening in Minnesota, they had to find a Somali skier to represent that community. Okay, so here's AP. This is what they said. Marian Hashi remembers the thoughts running through her mind when she began hitting the slopes in northern Sweden. As a black woman from Somalia, she felt like an alien. Am I wearing the correct clothing for this? Does it fit? Do I look weird? Am I snowboarding correctly? Did they think it's weird I'm on the slope? She said. But I carried on. I felt if I didn't, I was never going to commit to anything in my life. Now, those questions. Isn't that how everyone feels starting something new? Sure, there could be an added layer of insecurity because she's Somali, I guess. But feeling out of place when trying a new sport or anything new is pretty universal. You know, these are the questions she was asking herself. Am I wearing the correct clothing for this? Does it fit? Do I look weird? Am I snowboarding correctly? These are all questions I would ask myself if I started skiing right now. I don't know how much that has to do with race, but surely the AP will tell us.
Someone in
Quote,
the chat said it's
at the
kind of
Milan
like bananas
Cortina
and
Winter
rice.
Olympics, Sweden is sending a team made up almost exclusively of ethnically Swedish athletes. Let me just read that again in case you guys didn't get that. Sweden is sending a team made up of almost exclusively ethnically Swedish athletes. Am I supposed to be shocked? Am I supposed to be shocked? Am I supposed to be outraged? Well, duh. Then they said with NHL player Mika something or other, whose father is from Iran, a rare exception. That hardly reflects the diversity of the Nordic country. About 2 million of its 10 million residents were born abroad. About half of them in Asia or Africa. Who cares? I mean, 2 million out of 10 million? So again, why are we shocked? Also, let me reiterate, who cares? What does this have to do with sports? The lack of athletes of color at the Winter Olympics and in winter sports in general has been a recurring theme in the U.S., which is sending one of its most diverse teams to the games. Well, thank goodness. It hasn't gotten the same attention in Europe. The Olympic rosters of France, Germany, Switzerland, and other European winter sports nations look a lot like Sweden's, overwhelmingly white and lacking the immigrant representation seen in their soccer or basketball teams. I feel racist just reading this out loud. I do. I feel racist reading that article. Doesn't it feel kind of racist and weird to be looking at the rosters of majority white countries and then crunching the numbers to shame them for being white? And then to write an article slapping them on the wrist for not sending more black people and getting mad that people of color are only on the soccer and basketball teams? Why is that bad? Everyone is free to play the sports they want to play. Do you think that tall, athletic white guys ever think twice about playing in the NBA because they think it's not the cultural norm? Again, I feel stupid even saying that because it's not true. Do you think that white guys feel weird about accepting an offer from a soccer team or an NFL team because there are less white people? How ridiculous does that sound? And it gets worse. Quote, there are also financial and geographical factors at play. Immigrants in Sweden typically live in major urban areas, away from skiing hubs in the mountains, and are often in less privileged economic positions. Participating in winter sports can be expensive because of the need to buy or rent equipment and clothing and pay for travel and a ski pass. Watch Democrats and global elites raise taxes so that poor people can learn how to ski. There is a cost to being elite at any sport. There is. Not everyone gets to be elite. Not everyone gets to go to the Olympics. It's that simple. It's not a participation trophy kind of a thing. Sorry, you have to be the best of the best. And to be the best of the best, it takes money. It just does. If everyone got to go to the Olympics, it wouldn't be fun to watch, okay? We get to watch the best of the best of all the athletes from all over the world compete on, hopefully, a level playing field. Because yes, lessons, coaching, equipment, camp, training, physical therapy, medical treatments, massages, uniforms, all of this costs money. Everyone knows that. I am not crying for the poor people who didn't get to go to the Olympics because they couldn't afford it. I have never even thought about that until reading this garbage. I also don't obsess about race, so I don't care that predominantly white countries are sending white athletes to the Olympics because that's basic math. You know the only thing that matters in the Olympics? Competing as hard as you can. Pushing your body to its limits and going up against the greatest athletes in the world. Your skin color doesn't matter. Your time does. Where you grew up doesn't matter. How hard how you trained, that does. The liberal media is making excuses for people who didn't make it to the Olympics. That's what they're doing. They're focused on DEI, how much harder this group of people had to work to get to the same spot. Ask the athletes at the starting line if they look next to them at their opponent and they see color. Or give a rip about their socioeconomic background. No, they see an opponent. Doesn't matter how they got there. The point is they got there. And now it's game time. And it's athlete versus athlete. May the best woman or man win. That's it. These think pieces, by the way, didn't exist 15 years ago. Society has gone completely mad. We used to be able to watch the Olympics in peace and cheer on our team proudly without this undertone of political angst. It's ridiculous.
Someone in the chat said it's kind of like bananas and rice.
It's kind of like bananas and rice, you know? And it's like this cultural fusion of like bananas and rice. And it's like, it's not, being Somali isn't just about being bananas and rice, but it's about being bananas and rice. It's exactly like being, it's like eating bananas and rice. Anyway, let's get to our ad. Blackout coffee. You know how important coffee is to me in the morning, and I'm sure it is important to you as well. So let me tell you about the one that I've been loving lately, Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee is a premium American coffee brand known for bold flavor, high quality beans, and roasting fresh right here in the U.S. Every order ships straight to your door, so you always have an amazing cup ready, hot, whenever you need it. And what I love is how smooth and rich it tastes without any bitterness. It's that perfect balance of flavor and energy, getting me through busy mornings, long days. And you could try their subscribe and save program, and you can always have coffee on hand. Fresh coffee. You could switch your flavors anytime, pause or cancel whenever you want, plus get discounted pricing, free shipping, and reward points on every order. It is simple, flexible, and saves you money in the end. They offer dark roasts, flavored coffees, espresso blends, and more, something for every coffee lover. Now is the time to try Blackout Coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com and use code SCROLL for 20% off your first order. Once you try it, you won't want to go back. All right, so we're talking about sports and politics here, so we've got to get into the Super Bowl. How was everyone's weekend? Did everyone watch the Super Bowl halftime show? Which one did you watch? You can tell me in the chat. If you watched Turning Point, if you watched Bad Bunny, if you watched both. I am in camp both. I watched both. Okay, so Super Bowl 60, Seahawks versus the Patriots. Seahawks came out on top. I love to see that. I just do. I know the Patriots were like kind of the underdogs, but Seahawks hadn't been to the Super Bowl since 2014 where they lost to the Patriots. I thought it was cool to see them come back and win it. And, you know, the Patriots, they've had their moment, right? And they're going to need another Tom Brady before they have that dynasty, that Bill Belichick dynasty thing. So I don't know. I'm anti the football dynasties. I like to give people another chance. I root for the underdog. I was happy. I said this on Friday's show. I was just happy to see that the Chiefs weren't in it. The Eagles weren't in it. We got some new blood in there. I really would love to see the Bills make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not really necessarily like a huge Bills fan, but I just think Josh Allen's cool. Would love to see a New York team head to the Super Bowl. And yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting for the Bills. So they weren't on the field last night. So that's how I feel. But we're here to talk about the halftime show performance and the alternative on TPUSA. So Bad Bunny was the pick, the choice for the Super Bowl halftime show performance, as we know. And Jay-Z is behind it. It's Jay-Z and Tidal, and they're behind whoever is performing in the halftime show. And it just seems interesting because Bad Bunny, I can't name a song, and it seems like no one on the Seahawks could. Christian McCaffrey couldn't. Mike Vrabel couldn't. Watch this.
Your favorite Bad Bunny song?
I already got one. Sorry about that.
I don't know who that is.
I never heard of Bad Bunny.
I don't know what that is.
I heard performing at halftime.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know no Bad Bunny song.
Do you think they made a mistake?
I believe so. I ain't never heard of bro till now.
I don't have one.
I don't listen to him.
I don't know any song. Oh, what the heck's it called? I blank out the name. I don't think I have one.
I don't know a Bad Bunny song. That's a tough one.
I don't have one.
I don't really listen to that, but I can't lie.
I really do not know any.
I haven't listened to any songs.
I don't know any to keep it G.
I just tuned into Bad Bunny this morning because is it DTMF?
Christian, what's your favorite Bad Bunny song? Favorite Bad Bunny song?
Ooh, good question, man. I don't know. I have to go with him.
Have a good one.
Good question.
Who is Bad Bunny going to bring out during halftime?
I can't watch it. Beyonce back. Bring me up. I can perform.
Bring you up.
He gonna bring Rod Wave out.
Cardi B. Does he normally bring somebody out?
Yes.
Like Morgan Wallen?
G-Ma, he bringing out my G-Ma.
Probably like Shakira.
Shakira. Grupo Frontera. We're bringing out Cardi B, Karol G.
Katy Perry's sneaky one, dude.
Did they have a song together?
He could bring out.
I mean, you
Cardi
can make
B.
any song. You can make California.
He could bring
Girls
her
go.
out because they got a song together. Maybe Drake. Maybe.
To come perform with him?
Yeah.
I don't know. That Bunny? Cardi B. Cardi.
Oh, Benson Boone, he's in town. Shout out Monroe High School. I can see that happening.
Listen, there were a lot of unanswered questions about Bad Bunny and surrounding Bad Bunny. What's your favorite song? Don't know. Can you name one? No. And then, guessing who he was going to bring out, everyone was wrong. I just thought it was funny that Mike Vrabel said that Morgan Wallen would be there. There could not be two more diametrically opposed performing artists. There is absolutely no way that Bad Bunny would have brought out Morgan Wallen. That is the worst guess I've ever heard in my life. As a Morgan Wallen fan, there's just no way. But it is interesting. It seems like there's a lot of turnover. Lady Gaga had performed in the Super Bowl before, I believe. If you guys could look up the last time Lady Gaga was in it. But when Shakira and Beyonce were the halftime show in 2020, which I saw in person, by the way, I went to the Super Bowl and I was sitting like really, really close to the field. I think I was in the 5th row or something. It was crazy. And the Super Bowl halftime show, it's for TV. They do it for TV. Beyonce and Shakira were like little ants on the stage from where I was sitting, and I had good seats. This is Lady Gaga, 2017. Yeah. Okay, so Lady Gaga performed in 2017. She headlined. And Bad Bunny actually performed in 2020 when Shakira and Beyonce headlined. So there has been a lot of turnover. Lady Gaga was a former headliner. Now she was kind of the second act along with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny had already performed before. So I don't know if Jay-Z just needs new friends in the music industry or what, but like the Bad Bunny choice was obviously a political choice. And you know who also didn't know who Bad Bunny was? Tim Burchett. National treasure.
I wouldn't know if Bad Bunny walked up here and asked me for
if he could borrow my cell phone. I really don't know who he is. I used to have a Bad Bunny. I had this Flemish giant rabbit. His name was Flop. He had one ear that flopped over.
Oh, nice.
And I always remembered
nice.
somebody had another Flemish giant and they wanted to breed it. And I said, well, let's go easy on that. So they bring the dadgum thing over. It was Christmas Day. I'll never forget this. And Flop and this other his name was Caramel. I say caramel, that aggravates my wife and daughter, so I keep saying caramel. And so Caramel, we put it in the cage beside it, and they're getting to know each other. Put them together. It's true what they say about rabbits, dude.
Oh.
And, yeah, and my nephew was like, Uncle Tim, what's Flop doing to Caramel? And I go back in the house, dude. It's not my job to give the sex talk here.
Oh my God.
And then about a week later, Flop died of a heart attack. So what do you know? I guess he died doing what he loved.
Quite the story from Tim Burgett there. Someone in the chat said, this is why you don't talk to Southern people. You'll get a 20-minute story. This is like the opposite of an Irish goodbye. When you talk to someone from the South, these Southern Republicans, it's Tim Burchett and Senator John Kennedy. You're going to get a story like this. But I just thought that was hilarious. So let's talk about the Super Bowl halftime show, shall we? Do I think that Bad Bunny was a good choice? No. Do I think that the Super Bowl halftime show should be in a language that the majority of the country can't understand? No. Do I like Bad Bunny? No. Do I listen to Bad Bunny? No. Can I name any of his songs? No. Partly because I don't speak Spanish. Did I recognize some of his songs? Yes, I did. Did I enjoy the halftime show? Yes, everyone get your pitchforks out. Put them down. Put them down. Put your pitchforks down. I didn't hate it, okay? It was entertaining. I don't have to understand the lyrics to enjoy a performance. I actually thought that Bad Bunny's halftime show was better than last year with Kendrick Lamar. And I like rap music. And I know more of Kendrick Lamar's music than I do Bad Bunny, and I liked Bad Bunny's better. Okay. I thought it was cool that he brought out Lady Gaga, who is supremely talented. I've seen her live before, and once you see, there are certain people that you see in concert, and you come away from the concert after seeing them live with a new appreciation for them. Lady Gaga is one of those artists for me. She was so incredible live that she's an incredible performance artist. So I thought, very cool to see Lady Gaga out there. Then he brought Ricky Martin, who's also from Puerto Rico. Very cool, right? Talented group of people, very colorful, very fun to watch. Again, put your pitchforks away. And while I don't like Bad Bunny, and the people in my circle don't listen to Bad Bunny, that doesn't mean that other people don't. And that's okay. You win some, you lose most. And that is my mentality when it comes to the Super Bowl halftime show. What I like is certainly not going to be what Jay-Z likes, okay? But I did go to a bar in South Florida last night, and I just wanted to show you guys that people do know the words to these songs, and they were dancing it and enjoying it. Watch this. People enjoying themselves. I'm just saying. People knew the lyrics. And again, this is in South Florida. There are a lot of people from Latin descent and things like that. Okay, so that's not going to be the experience everywhere. I'm just saying, great reminder that if, everyone around you and everyone you associate with and everyone you follow on social media is outraged all the time, and you might be falling for that rage bait, it's not necessarily the whole story. It might be time to get off the phone. Also, a great reminder that not all American culture looks the same. The Super Bowl celebrated Puerto Rican culture. Not all American culture looks alike. Not all Americans are Texans or Californians or Floridians or New Yorkers or Minnesotans. There's a lot more to the U.S. than that. And I just think that this show embodied that. And the show itself was not political. I mean, I guess you could argue certain things were political, but the only overt political statement was that there was a screen that came up behind Bad Bunny, and it said, "The only thing more powerful than hate is love." And if that is the extent of the politics, I'm fine with it. I'm just not going to get outraged over it. And a couple got legally married during the Super Bowl halftime performance. Again, not my style. If I ever get married, it'll be in a church, but Good for them, right? So am I outraged? No, I'm not. But as you know, I don't do boycotts. I don't do cancel culture. So if you're into that thing, I get it. And not everyone was happy. I've been scrolling on social media to see the reaction from the Latino community, other liberals. They thought it wasn't political enough. They were mad that Jessica Alba was in the front, and they were like, oh, I guess Jessica Alba is like pretending to be Latina today. So I guess Jessica Alba, I don't know. I don't know what their issues are. Then Alex Earl, who's a huge influencer, was in the halftime show, and people hate her because they think that she's MAGA, even though she's never said it. They're just mad about everything. So in true American form, everyone's unhappy and mad at each other. And a lot of the political statements happened surrounding the Super Bowl. Apparently they gave out these towels that said "Ice Out" and were giving them to people in the stands and were, telling them to swing them around at like certain points of the show. I don't know if people actually did that. Again, I was just watching on my TV screen and I didn't see anyone doing that. Maybe one person on TikTok I saw making a video about the towels, but I don't know. I don't think that whatever their anti-ice thing, I don't think that it really got the traction that they thought it was going to. And again, this is the reason why a lot of Americans turned into Turning Point USA. More than 2 million views on Rumble and more than 6.1 concurrent viewers on YouTube. Again, that is just streaming. It also aired on The Daily Wire and Real America's Voice. I didn't get those numbers. That is a lot of people that tuned out of the NFL Super Bowl halftime show, and they tuned in to the Pro America one. It was wonderful. It was well done. I was impressed. I was entertained. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Do I love that Americans were tuned into two different shows? Not really. But I think it just goes to show that the NFL made such a huge mistake by pissing off so many people. And I think that Jay-Z and whoever else is in charge of the show should really keep that in mind next year. It would be nice if they could pick artists, even different kinds of artists, to collaborate in the same show to give people a little taste of everything. But I loved the Turning Point show. I really did. And I think that just goes to show a lot of Americans want a country music halftime show. I think it would be so cool. And there are so many ways to incorporate country music with other sounds too. Like, I feel like there are so many remixes now that are country meets pop, country meets EDM, country meets hip hop. Like, you could really do something very cool with a country music halftime show. And I think the Turning Point show really, I was very impressed. And I think that America really wants something similar like that. So, unclear of exactly how much reach the Turning Point one got. Again, 6.1 million just on YouTube concurrent viewers. That is crazy. That is a huge, I'm pretty sure that is the second most viewed video on YouTube. That was like the craziest live turnout it's crazy. I mean, it is absolutely the only thing that hasn't beaten it was, I think, like some kind of a rocket launch in India or something that had 8 million views. So again, just goes to show just how many people tuned in. I thought that the guitars, the harmony on the guitars or the national anthem, gorgeous, almost brought a tear to my eyes. I thought Gabby Barrett was incredible. Her voice is so underrated. She needs to be more famous than she is. And I thought that Kid Rock was awesome. I just liked it. So again, you don't have to be outraged about everything. I didn't hate the Bad Bunny one. It's just, I like them both. I was thoroughly entertained and I got 2 halftime shows out of it. So I thought it would be cool. Someone said Luke Combs would probably be amazing. I think that Luke Combs is pretty liberal, actually. But, still country and better than probably other alternatives. But so good. I mean, it was just so good. I really, really enjoyed the Turning Point one. So, and I was impressed. I mean, to go up against the Super Bowl halftime show with all of the money and all of the funding and support behind that and all of the backup dancers and everything, to have a show that drew that many viewers and was that great, I was very, very, very impressed, thoroughly impressed. And other people in the chat are throwing up some ideas of other country music artists. Again, Chris Stapleton, we talked about. doing the national anthem. I would love to see Chris Stapleton. I think that would be awesome. He's so talented. People were saying Morgan Wallen. They would never pick him. Again, we would have to get Jay-Z to pick these people. But I think if they can do kind of like a country hip hop, country pop kind of a thing, then it would be very cool. So I think that, I don't know, I'm holding out hope for next year. Oh, and Charlie Puth. I was going to talk about that too. Charlie Puth did such an amazing job with the national anthem. It was gorgeous, gorgeous rendition. I was so pleased with that as well. Just so talented. So all in all, lots of talent. Lots of talent in this country. And next year, if it can be in English, probably for the better. I love it. I love all the America stuff. So cool. So cool during the national anthem. Ugh. He brought the house down, for sure. Love it. Love a flyover. Love the national anthem. It's patriotism, baby. It's patriotism. Anyway, I want to talk about Minneapolis just for a little bit because I saw this video and I guess the protesters are still out there. They're still out there and they're trying new tactics to get attention. And they apparently are throwing dildos at cars that they think belong to ICE. Watch this. They are just throwing dildos at cars and hoping that it sticks, I guess. And unclear if these are used or if they purchased them for this specific purpose. Either way, disturbing. Absolutely disturbing. I would hope that they purchased them and they didn't all just have these, but I wouldn't put it past them. So, I don't know. Here's the good news. Tom Homan has taken over and things are already looking up. And just some of his past comments from June are being resurfaced. And I think it reiterates just how capable this man is. And Tom Homan should have been sent into Minneapolis on day one. Day one. And this is what he said. I think the vast majority of the American people think criminal illegal aliens need to leave. True. And if we stick to that prioritization, I think we should keep the faith of the American people. Then he said, and I think the more we do that, the more the American people will support what President Trump is doing. We've got to do it, and we've got to do it in a humane manner. Yes. The majority of Americans do want illegal aliens who, again, are also rapists, murderers, and vile human beings to be deported. And I agree that they should be prioritized over illegals with no additional criminal record. And I would argue that most Americans who voted for border control and build the wall and all of that to have the deportations be humane. This is an easy thing to get behind, right? And the reason why we're seeing all this violence is because violence is being met with violence, right? If you have violent protesters, law enforcement is going to be forced to react in kind because they're defending themselves. And what's happening now is the mainstream media has riled up their base so much, and the Democrats are fueling this fire and funding it so much, that this is seemingly going on forever in Minnesota. I mean, it just seems like we've been covering this for almost, 3 weeks now? But not on Tom Homan's watch. Tom Homan is in town, and we could just watch arrests finally being made in Minneapolis. Watch.
You are under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of officers. You are under arrest. Be seated where you are.
Look at them. They're taking them down. There's like three or four of them on the ground. 3 or 4 of them. Look at this one. It looks like they're rolling around on the ground like a pig roast. Like stop, drop, and roll. I don't know what they're doing. Why is this person rolling around like that? But I'm glad to see that they're being arrested. Because something's got to give, right? Like, how long is this going to go on? So I'm glad that these people are being taken out because it's just enough. Enough is enough already. And maybe Tom Homan can go to the Board of Education and do the same thing and round up some of these people. Or he can go to this school in Illinois next. So There was a walkout staged at, schools across the country. But this one in particular was in a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. And they had a walkout. Again, these are supposedly student organized. Again, where are the students learning how to do this? Maybe social media, maybe their favorite athlete or their favorite celebrity, singer, actor, whatever, has put something out saying, let's all walk out or something. But something tells me that the teachers are involved because they're allowing it to happen. So therefore, they are involved and they're co-signing it. But this is a school in, again, like I said, the suburbs of Chicago that put up a what looks to be Trump in a MAGA hat on a cross, like he's being crucified. This is so disgusting. It is demonic. It is strange. It is weird. This is Waukegan High School. This was their anti-ICE protest. And Donald Trump crucified on the cross. Again, I honestly, I wouldn't even have thought that that was Trump. It just, I guess, is that supposed to be Trump? I just feel like it doesn't really look like him, but I don't know. Just gross. Absolutely disgusting. These people are demonic. They need God. They need help. They need parents who love them. Seriously, they need teachers that won't put up with this kind of stuff. Like, you're telling me students had that made? Students did that? Or they got help from adults? Like, let's be real. And then I was kind of laughing because Moms for Liberty posted this on X saying that actually the kids in this school are pretty dumb. And it turns out that maybe they should be focusing less on protesting and less on ICE and other current events and maybe get down to the basics, maybe get down to business when you're in school, because only 11% of students at that school in that district are proficient in reading. 11%. And only 7% are proficient in math. Hello, Illinois, are you paying attention? Your kids are stupid. And again, this isn't just Illinois, right? This isn't just blue states. Kids in America are being failed by the Department of Education. We are falling behind quickly in this case when it comes to education. Our proficiency in English should be pretty good. In math should be pretty good. We should be focusing on those things and less about activism, clearly. Are any of the 7% proficient in math? What are these kids going to go on to do? Are they going to graduate high school? Are they going to go to college? What are they going to study in college? These are the people that end up being baristas. Nothing wrong with that. A job is a job. But I'm just saying, it's you can't do math, you can't read, you can't write. What are you going to do in the real world? What are you going to do when it's time to get a job? I guess they're all going to be paid protesters. I guess this is their audition. This is their interview. They're just interviewing to be paid protester for the rest of their lives. It's crazy. I want to talk about the Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie missing story because I started covering it and we're gonna keep covering it. No news, no good news, unfortunately, but they put out a new video over the weekend. Watch this.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Very sad. It's just very sad. And, there was a ransom note that was sent to a local TV station, also to TMZ, and it's been reported now that in that ransom note, they demanded $6 million in Bitcoin by 5 p.m. tonight. And the first deadline has already passed. That was Friday, I think around noon, if I'm saying that correctly. And then today, by 5 p.m. is the second deadline to pay. And in this video, Savannah said, we received your message. We understand. They were saying, we beg you to return our mother so that we can celebrate with her. It's the only way that we can have peace. And then she ends it by saying, we will pay. Now, I still have a lot of unanswered questions here. Are they using this language purposefully to be vague? Are they saying they understand the terms of the ransom note, or are they saying they understand the condition that Nancy is in? Because we don't know the public doesn't know what's being said on the other end of this. We don't know what the potential abductors are saying. When the family says we want to celebrate with her, does this mean celebration of life? Are they insinuating that they think or know that their mother is dead? I don't know. And they're saying, this is the only way that we can have peace. Are they saying they will pay for her body to be returned to them? I'm not trying to be graphic here, but let's just talk about what they're saying or try to read through the lines here. Do the terms of the ransom change depending on whether Nancy is returned dead or alive? I certainly wouldn't pay $6 million to the people who potentially killed my mom if that's the case. So again, with them demanding Bitcoin, I don't know how it's possible that these people would get away with this, especially for this long. I mean, what is it, the 9th? We're 9 days into this woman being missing now. She could be anywhere at this point. Those people could be anywhere. I do hope that they get caught. And I think if the Guthries are making contact with these people, and if they think it's confirmed that this is a real ransom and authorities have confirmed it, if that's the case, do they know where these people are? Can they find them? Do they know who they are? Can they track that stuff? It's unclear what the authorities know versus what they're telling us, because this is a sensitive situation. Like, maybe they do know certain things and we just don't know. But if the ransom notes aren't confirmed, then why would the family be making videos, public videos, to her captors at all? Why would they be making videos saying that we'll pay people, So I guess we can infer that this is very real, very much real. Do authorities even know that she was captured or how she was captured? I think there are so many unanswered questions here. Again, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, but could this have been staged? That would be very dramatic, a dramatic thing to do for money, but people do very crazy things. And I'm not trying to insinuate that the family is in on it, but it does seem like someone would have to be very familiar with Nancy's house to pull this off. Authorities think that she was taken from her bed. All of the cameras in the house were removed or smashed. That means that someone had to have known where all of those are. Either they've been to the house once for long enough to see all of that, or they've been to the house multiple times over a certain amount of time, or this is someone who's never been to the house, but maybe they've been stalking Nancy long enough to get that information. Maybe they've just been in the neighborhood or around the area trying to see where those cameras are, where they're placed around the property. Again, the search for Nancy escalated Friday night, where forensics teams returned back to her home for the 3rd time to collect new evidence. They were also collecting evidence from a car in her garage, a camera from her roof. Again, I don't know what this means. Does this mean they didn't do a thorough enough sweep the first time? Did they get new details and they're looking for something different the second time and the third time? Unclear. Also, Friday night, the sheriff, the local sheriff, the PCSD sheriff, Chris Nanos, believed that Nancy was still alive. And they have no reason to believe that the abduction is tied to Savannah Guthrie's fame and her profile, but they're not ruling that out. I also saw a video, and I might have talked about this on Friday, but I feel like if it was about money and just about money, there are richer people in the world that maybe could have garnered more attention. Maybe. I mean, I think it's hard to believe that this was random. I don't think that this was random at all. I think that this was either very, very personal to the Guthrie family, or this is someone who targeted her because of her working at NBC and being a reporter, journalist. That seems obvious to me. But again, I'm just a lay person who doesn't know anything about law enforcement. It just seems like this wouldn't be random. And I don't know. I think her working at NBC and certainly the timing of all this lining up right before she would be covering the Olympics adds another layer to it. And there are a lot of conspiracies swirling around online. I've seen them. I'm listening to them. I'm not fully bought in yet. And you guys know I love conspiracy theorists and theories, but people are saying that, Savannah Guthrie has interviewed certain people tied to Epstein. Is there this some sort of retaliation? People are also saying, can you pull up the video one more time? People are saying that the video that they put out was fake or AI because it looked like Savannah had 6 fingers. We can look at this, but I think that's been debunked because it looks like she's holding hands with both of her siblings. So it looks like, if you could see there, it looks like she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers. But again, I think the light, it's like her hand's kind of blown out. I think that's her sister's finger underneath that last finger. But again, you never know. You never know, and details are still coming out. I am just praying for this woman because I know she is 84 years old. She needs medication. If she is still alive, by the grace of God, she's going to need prayers. So that's all I'm saying. And let's get into scrolling time. All right, this one is Super Bowl coded. This is your liberal boyfriend watching the Super Bowl. Watch.
Yes, go Patriots! No, not the motherland-loving fascists who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, but instead the morally dubious sports ball team with more cheating scandals than the British royal family. On second thought, I think I'll just watch YouTube on my iPad. I'm subscribed to a French video essayist whose hilarious satirical takes on US politics put Jon Stewart to shame. Perhaps I could airplay some of his videos to the TV during the commercial breaks? Oh wait, I forgot. If it wasn't already American enough to just watch grown men bash each other's brains out on live television, we must also prostrate ourselves before the altar of capitalism by worshiping painfully unfunny advertisements, whose production budgets alone could have fed entire neighborhoods in inner-city Detroit. Sighs out of deep, bone-crushing exhaustion. Lauren, my love, could you please grab the elderflower gin from our NPR tote bag? I think I'm gonna need a stiff gimlet.
Someone commented on this video, I know it's satire, but it still physically hurt. And I agree. It does physically hurt to watch that. These are the kinds of people that live in Williamsburg and Brooklyn. These are the people when I lived in Nashville. These are people who live in East Nashville. This is just, there are wokies everywhere. And they're getting too woke. They're just getting too woke. All right, this is Kyle Juszczyk. He was asked if he would want to win the Super Bowl or go to dinner with God. And here's what he had to say.
Either win the Super Bowl or have dinner with God.
Win the Super Bowl.
Yeah?
1,000 times over.
What if you could ask God for the Super Bowl when you speak to him?
Win the Super Bowl.
Yeah? Okay. Appreciate you, man.
Ugh, I just hate this. I want to pull up the comments here because people were slamming him for this, rightfully so. People are saying, well, now we know your character. God will not be mocked. Used to be a Kyle Juszczyk fan. That's not good. 1,000 times over is crazy, not gonna lie. I mean, he literally said, I would take a Super Bowl 1,000 times over, dinner with God. And then someone commented, he will now never win a Super Bowl. And he probably won't. And it's just, I mean, this struck me as so sad. And yeah, I know not everyone's religious, right? Not everyone believes in God, but we hope that people will come to that. We hope that people will find God and find faith. And to know that there is something bigger than just us. There is something bigger than politics. There's something bigger than Super Bowl, right? And for him, the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, that is his God. That's the God that he is following. That's the God that he is worshiping. And I hope that one day he does find real God and faith, because there is nothing greater than that. There is truly nothing greater than that. And this makes me really sad to see. This is a man on the street video. And this guy was asking, these liberals, let's talk about these deportees, right? Illegal immigrants are getting deported. Would you want to bring them back? Here's what this woman said. Watch.
We're just trying to bring back people who are deported by ICE, undocumented people, to get them back to America. Could we ask you for your signature of support?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I live in Tacoma Park, Maryland, and I'm involved in a group that's doing that every day.
Specifically, Darwin Vasquez Ramos, who was deported, was arrested in Maryland by ICE. We do have to disclose, though, he was convicted of third-degree sex offense, but we think he deserves a second chance to come back to America. Right.
You know, hypothetically, yes, but
You want to bring him back?
I want to bring everybody back that's been improperly detained or arrested. ICE is not obeying the law. It's unconstitutional.
Should we bring back convicted sex offenders, though, that were deported?
That's a harder question for me.
Okay.
I can't say yay or nay. I can only say it would. If I were in a jury, it would depend on the circumstances. I got to get in this car.
Okay, I don't want to hold you up. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, bring back sex offenders. Bye, gotta go. No more questions. Yeah, I want them back, but no, don't ask me any follow-up questions. Are you crazy? Oh, that's a harder question for me. That shouldn't be a hard question for anyone. They're not supposed to be here in the first place, and you have to throw in a sweetener. Oh, and they're a sex offender. Oh, yeah, that should be a really easy question. That should say, yeah, just leave them. Leave them where they are. Oh, they were deported? Good job, ICE. That should be the only answer. But these people are crazy. They're just crazy. They feel like they have to be a good person to be so toxically empathetic towards these people that don't deserve it. Murderers, rapists, like it's okay. It's okay. We could deport them. And it's okay. We're not going to cancel you. You can say, yes, I don't want murderers living amongst me. You should be allowed to say that in this country. In this free country, you should be allowed to say that you don't want to live amongst murderers and rapists. Okay? Gosh, we've just gotten too woke, too woke, too soft. It's crazy. All right, this last one that I'm going to play for you today, we could just go to Don Lemon. I had to see this video, and that means you do too. Watch. Why would he post this? Ugh. I'm sorry that you had to see it, but I wanted to share that with you. Just because this was actually before Don Lemon went to jail, but I think you should be jailed for posting that online. I actually do. I think that's a bad enough offense. It was a fashion offense, and I don't know. I feel like he should maybe have some more rhythm. I was unimpressed with that performance. Don Lemon for the Super Bowl halftime show, 61. Next year, we're going to have Don Lemon in his glittery outfit and the groovy fingers. Yep. Now, Jay-Z, I have a suggestion to make. Jay-Z, if you're hearing me, Jay-Z, if you're watching this show right now, I want to see Don Lemon dancing like that in the Super Bowl halftime show. Give the people what they want. And on that note, you can follow me on social media at Hayley Carania.